This fight wasn't the fight we asked for, but it's going to be a banger. I just rewatched a few Justin Gaethje fights and a few Paddy Pimblett fights, and I'm here to give you my take on who's going to be the winner on Saturday night. The most violent man on the planet versus Paddy the Baddy. So to know who's the winner out of Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett, we have to ask a few questions. Firstly, is Paddy Pimblett going to be able to take Justin Gaethje down? If your answer to that question is yes, then this fight's going to be pretty easy, because Justin Gaethje has little to no jiu-jitsu, as we saw against Khabib and against Charles Oliveira. He has little to no jiu-jitsu, and Paddy Pimblett has phenomenal jiu-jitsu, right? If I had to answer that question, I would say almost certainly Paddy Pimblett cannot take Justin Gaethje down, because the only person that's really been able to take Justin Gaethje down is Khabib, right? And he's just a cheat code. You know, I don't think Paddy Pimblett has the same level of wrestling as Khabib, obviously. And Justin Gaethje will not be able to get taken down by Paddy Pimblett, because Michael Chandler is a wrestler, and he went in there and he tried to take him down. And if you see what happened, first of all, he sprawled, you know, he was defending well, but when he did get picked up by Michael Chandler, he had a freaking front flip out of it. Like, this dude's so crazy athletic. He doesn't look like he's that athletic, but he's insanely athletic. He wrestled his whole life, and that sticks with you. So I think under no circumstances is Paddy Pimblett going to be able to take Justin Gaethje down. If it does go to the ground, obviously Paddy Pimblett has a huge advantage. But I think the odds of it going there are very slim, at least from a takedown. Now, the second question you have to ask is, who is better at striking, right? And that's a really hard question to answer, because if you look at both of them versus Michael Chandler, it's kind of up in the air, because Michael Chandler got off a lot more strikes on Justin Gaethje than he got off on Paddy Pimblett. He almost didn't hit Paddy Pimblett at all, but he hit Justin Gaethje a lot. Now, if we look at Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler, the statistics, right? Justin Gaethje had 1 knockdown, and Justin Gaethje had 116 significant strikes out of 183. And this is the number that's important to me. Michael Chandler hit 103 significant strikes on Justin Gaethje, right? Now, if we hop over to the Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett fight, we can see that Paddy Pimblett hit 80 out of 143 strikes, and Michael Chandler only hit 11 strikes on Paddy Pimblett. So that's a huge deal, right? So in almost the same amount of time, a little less amount of time, Michael Chandler hit almost no significant strikes on Paddy Pimblett versus the strikes that he hit on Justin Gaethje, right? So Justin Gaethje is a lot more hittable than Michael Chandler is. So that means that Paddy Pimblett has much better defense than, you know, Justin Gaethje. But, you know, Justin Gaethje did hit Michael Chandler a lot harder and a lot more than Paddy Pimblett hit him. But, you know, Paddy Pimblett's strikes did lead to Michael Chandler being finished, and Justin Gaethje's did not. So there's a factor there. But if I had to match up their striking, you know, 1 versus 1, I'd say that Paddy Pimblett is probably a little more technical, slightly, and very slightly faster than Justin Gaethje. But Justin Gaethje has a huge edge in power and a huge edge in dirty boxing and in the pocket fighting. So I do think that Paddy Pimblett could hit Justin with something crazy, like the knee he hit Michael Chandler with, or like a Superman punch or something, and, you know, knock Justin Gaethje down and then choke him out. I do think that's unlikely, but I do think that could happen. Paddy Pimblett's got an awkward style, and, you know, things come from all over the place. Now, there's a few ways this fight could end. One would be Paddy Pimblett knocking Justin Gaethje down and then submitting him, right? Also, Paddy Pimblett could maybe take Justin Gaethje down and submit him, which probably isn't going to happen. And he could either submit them, or he could, you know, finish them with ground and pound like he did with Michael Chandler. Or the third option is he could hit some kind of flying triangle, crazy jiu-jitsu thing out of nowhere. And that's probably the least likely out of all the options, but I do think it could happen. I think if he gets Justin Gaethje on the cage and then he grabs him and throws up a flying triangle, I don't know if Justin Gaethje knows how to defend that. You know, I don't know how much he's been working on his jiu-jitsu. I hope a lot, but I don't know if he has been. And then if we look at Justin Gaethje, the ways he could finish the fight, pretty much he could throw a head kick, or he could throw a crazy uppercut, or, you know, a crazy right hook or a crazy left hook. And that's pretty much it. Only ways he could finish it. You know, Paddy Pimblett is a phenomenal fighter, but I don't think physically he's Justin Gaethje. I mean, you guys know this, but Justin Gaethje got like some kind of scan on his body. He has some of the densest bones that the doctor's ever seen. He's like a freak phenom, you know? Another way that Justin Gaethje could win is those low kicks. He could throw low kick, low kick, low kick, and then, you know, he's worried about the low kicks, and then he hits him with something, you know? Or he could even theoretically TKO him with those low kicks. It just depends. But Paddy Pimblett has really good low kicks as well, so I don't know if Justin Gaethje is really going to be able to do much with that. How I personally see this fight playing out, I see Paddy Pimblett keeping distance and using his explosiveness to throw these crazy, awkward strikes, and not really hitting too many of those. Obviously hitting some of them, but not causing, you know, serious fight-ending damage. And then I see Justin Gaethje countering, hitting a lot. And I see this fight, honestly, going to a really close 5th round decision, where I do believe that Justin Gaethje is going to very slightly edge it out on top. Now, some things to look out for when you're watching this fight are, do they go to the ground a lot, right? If they're going to the ground a lot, then Paddy Pimblett has a much higher chance of winning. Another thing to watch out for Justin Gaethje is he able to close the distance and, you know, grab the back of the head and work some of that dirty boxing he does, right? That's his best area, is in the clinch, in the pocket fighting, right? So if he's able to get in there, he's probably gonna win. But if Paddy Pimblett's able to keep the distance and able to, you know, throw up some flying triangle crazy stuff and, you know, use his explosiveness and his low kicks to keep him back, he might be able to pull off the split decision or something, you know. But I do believe that Justin Gaethje is going to be able to get close, collar tie with him, throw those dirty boxing strikes, throw those crazy uppercuts, those crazy hooks, and I do think he might even knock Paddy down once or twice because he just hits so hard. Anybody that's fought Justin Gaethje talks about how incredibly hard he hits. You know, he's got the densest bones like ever. So he's just a freak athlete. So my final prediction is Justin Gaethje by 5th round decision, and second most likely is Justin Gaethje by knockout somewhere later in the fight.